Hey gang, just thought that we'd do some more wild speculation. It looked like on October 29th on the Star Citizen Twitter, which I'm almost never on Twitter, especially not these days, and so this one kind of snuck by me. But they dropped this, which is obviously kind of a blurry image, and I'm going to kind of do my best Super Troopers enhanced version on this in Photoshop here in a bit. Uh, but I kind of wanted to say what I think is going on in this super blurry picture. So even more so than looking at the roadmap and trying to divine the size of a ship from that, looking at a super blurry image of ships and trying, if that's even what this is, this could be two potatoes or two Pikachus for all we know. But I'll tell you what I'm kind of seeing here. I think that this is probably the medical Pisces, this sort of red dot there. What you're looking at here is you're looking at the Microtech, basically where they display all the ships, and so it's kind of this circle area, and then they have the ships laid out on the inside. And so this is just background back here, which if that is a ship, like I said in the comments on Info Runners, if this is a ship, it would be this big flying wing shape, which would be really cool, but yeah, I don't think that's what that is. I think this is lights and like banners, like the Drake banners, and this is the background wall, this is the foreground wall, and then you've got a little ship here, you've got a ship here, and then you've got a ship here. And what I'm seeing right here is a big wing on the starboard side of this ship. So if you got a big wing on the starboard side, that is almost certainly the Corsair. So you can sort of see this wing right back here. That's the starboard wing, and then the two port wings, the ones that are kind of sitting out like that. It's sort of awkward. Those are the port wings, and they just kind of fold up like this, and then that gigantic wing kind of comes up and forms this. This thing's going to have a hell of a time getting in those smaller hangars, but I guess that's not the point of the ship. So let's go back to the other image. So right here, so I think that that's this. So this is the Corsair, this is the Pisces, which makes this the Drake cutter. And so, well, like I said, I'll take this into Photoshop and kind of show you what I'm seeing. This could easily, just when you do a Gaussian blur on an image, there's almost no way to retrieve it. Like there's no amount of computer magic that'll bring it back. So at this point, it's just fun to kind of speculate. But the guy that I said should bet me last time, he should have taken that bet, because now I'm not making that bet anymore, because this thing could be bigger than I thought it was. Maybe. So if this is the Corsair and it kind of has the shape language just from what I can see from this, then this guy is a little bit smaller than the Corsair, which is about what I was thinking, but even more so. So if you look here, I was saying somewhere between a Prospector and a Cutlass, which now I'm thinking maybe Cutlass sized. I'd be surprised if it's bigger, but not completely shocked. And I'll get into why in a minute. So coming back here, so we got the blurry shape. So Pisces, pretty safe on that one. Thinking this is the Corsair. So this is the Drake cutter, more than likely. And so let's go ahead and look at this. So someone was saying in the comments on the last one that the back of the cutter, just from that view, matched this perfectly. And so what I wanted to do is kind of take a look at them both at once. Let's get this up here. So I can kind of see what they're saying too, although it looks like this is actually a ramp that goes all the way down, whereas you can kind of see that the Corsairs, it's this little section up here, and then it kind of folds down this way. And I think this whole thing kind of folds down double. this is it compared to a Corsair, but you can sort of see it has this smooth edge. And there's kind of the smooth edge here, and that's got a little engine, which that little engine would probably be right about there. And that's got bigger engines there. What I'm thinking is that if this is the size of the Corsair engine, you're still looking at something that's Cuddy sized, because this is about where if this is truly the back end of the cutter, then the front end is right about here, which would make it still a little bit a hair smaller than the Cutlass, which is about right. So yeah, it could be the back part of the Cutlass, which if they're kit bashing. So one of the reasons that I would love to be wrong about this, and I'll get into this now, is one of the things that I have been waiting for is kind of the economy of production pipelines catching up, because they should be getting, as they build out more style guides and more assets for these ships and these companies, they should be able to start busting out these ships faster and faster, because like with the Corsair, they can take it and they can be like, okay, we've got the table from the Caterpillar, the chairs from the Cutlass, the control panel from the Cutlass. Well, now it's all going to be the Corsair, because the Corsair is the most up-to-date one, so any other Drake ship they make is going to benefit from that. But they should be able to kind of kit bash it and build out the internals really quick, kind of pull over the lighting and the switches and all of that, and make a couple tweaks here and there. But the pipeline, in theory, should be picking up speed and picking up speed and picking up speed. And this is kind of what I've been waiting for with CIG on a lot of different things, like planets should be speeding up, moon should be speeding up, outposts should be speeding up. All of the assets that they need to make, they have been building the tools the last 10 years. Now those tools are built. The rest of the pipeline should start speeding up. And this is another one of those reasons that I was saying with my 100 systems, that they should be able to bust out 100 systems much faster than people are thinking, because the tools are made now. They have asset packs. They can just sort of change the color of the sand with sliders and things like that. Maybe not quite that easy, but you get the point, that they can start building these things quicker and quicker. So if they did build a ship that is roughly Cutlass sized, which I'm still not 100% convinced it would be, because any sort of a cargo carrier that's the size of a Cutlass would be competing with a Cutlass. So it's got to do something else. Like the Vulture is a similar size to a Cutlass, but it does something completely different. So if it was a mining ship, or again a ship that can do construction or build things, then it's a different class. It doesn't matter if it's the same size as the Cutlass. Then it wouldn't compete. It would be a new thing. But anyway, if they're able to build out something Cutlass sized in 41 weeks from concept, from basically one of the things that we call it in accounting is cradle to grave. If they can make this thing cradle to grave, something in the size and complexity of a Cutlass with a new game loop, that's a really, really good sign for the ship pipeline and the game, or at least for Drake manufacturing. So with that in mind, and this sort of shape language could be the size of a Cutlass, I'm still saying it's not, probably not going to be any bigger than that, unless they've really cleaned up that ship pipeline. I don't see it happening, but it'd be cool. But I mean, you can kind of see that if this thing was somewhere between half to 2/3 of the size of the Corsair, if this is the Corsair and this right here is the Cutter and that's the Pisces, the scale all fits. And so this would be roughly half to 2/3 the size of the Corsair. So let's go ahead and pop into Photoshop, and I'll kind of show you some fun stuff there. So hang on. All right, so I've got this called up on my Cintiq, which you can tell because I'm wearing my super awesome power glove, so I don't leave little smudges everywhere. It lets me kind of move things around. So let's go ahead and I'll kind of show you what I'm thinking about here. Let's go ahead and make it something I'll show up. So we'll go green. Should show up. We'll make it a bright green. We got that up there. So what I'm thinking for the Corsair is you kind of got this shape here, and it kind of goes like that, and you've got the big wing here, then you've probably got the smaller wings here. Of course, those there. Equally, this one could be the Corsair, but I don't think it is, and so then you kind of got the Pisces here, and then you've got your cutter is basically the sort of bulbous thing off this side. And probably that's way too big. So yeah, you got to remember that blurring expands things. So you've kind of got that right there. So that's kind of what I'm looking at right there. That's what I'm thinking. That's your Pisces. That's your Corsair. That's your cutter. And so this thing, roughly the size of a cutlass or smaller. I'd stick with that. So I did run kind of a couple sharpen filters on this. So this is one of those reasons that I always laugh, like in CSI, when they have an image like this and they're like, oh, you just run this filter on it. No, that's not how it works. So the only thing you can do is take the existing pixels and extrapolate and kind of do things. But you can sort of see that when I ran a sharpen on this, so I mean, you are getting a shadow under there. So, I mean, I'm pretty sure that shape right there is one ship. And it's kind of hard to tell with this little spot right there what that would be. I do think that is kind of the size of this ship. And let's go ahead and walk that back. Whoop, let's walk that forward. So I do think that is the wing of the Corsair. And so that kind of tracks with that, which makes this guy, the cutter, roughly that big. You got to remember that these are going to be foreshortened, so kind of looking at a different angle, but you kind of got those big circular engines that the Corsair has. You can kind of see there's a little bit of a shadow here. So the Pisces probably laid out like that. Its little wings are up. This thing has its little doughy wings back here, and it's kind of got the Corsair rotating engines, but they're on the side. So I mean, I think you're looking at something like that. So it's a little bit of a fat, chunky thing, like kind of like a bloated, cutlass in some ways, and I think it's going to be a little bit kind of sort of if you took a cutlass, like inflated it like a balloon, and then like shoved in the nose a little bit. I think that's about what this thing's going to look like, but we'll find out. So it could be fun. Again, just kind of a best guess from what I'm seeing. I was kind of hoping that we'd get that Argo ship. I really do like Argo ships, but we're going to get to see a lot of cool things this time around. So, yeah, stick with me. I did want to show two other things. In the last couple days, I worked on a couple animations, so I was just going to show those off, and then we're going to call it on this one. So there's a new one that I did for my org, which we are recruiting now. So if you're a solo player, if you're in a small org, that's perfect. You can keep your small org and affiliate with us, and then you can join us as a cell or a supercell or something like that. I have another video on that, and I'm not going to waste your time on that right now. Just join our org, but I did put this together. Yeah, I don't get to mess with After Effects too often, so kind of like to play around when I get in there. So yeah, that's the new one, which you'll probably see at the end of this video, probably right about now. So that's all I got for right now, people. Throw down your comments. Let me know what you think. If I'm an idiot, let me know that too. Like and subscribe if you drop by here a couple times. If not, I'll see you in the verse and see me next time.